Trojan, and welcome back to Gaming Hexa, to what is now Season 2, yes, of our Star System Survival, and Episode 1 in that case. The reason why I've decided to go ahead and call this Season 2 is because, let's face it, it's a new chapter now in our little journey together, and it's been a challenge to get into space, so I wanted to make it feel like for us that it's a new chapter now. We're going to be experiencing something different now, and there's going to be new challenges. There's something wrong with this picture. Where's the asteroids? There's no asteroids. So, how am I supposed to get all the other ores that I couldn't get on the planet? Well, that puts a bit of a spanner in the works. Not the way I intended to start the series, but well, there we go. Right, gonna have to break some bad habits now. I'm gonna go outside the ship, just to get a look around. Also means that I'm gonna need to put a helmet on because, let's face it, we haven't done that in a while. And close doors behind me properly, unless I want to be blown out the door. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, I'm a bit miffed. I didn't account for the fact that there wouldn't be asteroids. The whole point of building the station was going to be that might be local to asteroids, and we could build a station and mine local asteroids and have the resources we need to build, like iron thrusters, because iron thrusters now, the ones that only work in space or are more efficient in space, they require platinum, which as you saw when I was mining and stuff down there, and in my inventory there was no platinum down there. I think I might have to check the moon out. I think that's going to be our first course of action. Surprisingly. Right, so anyway, let's crack on, and we won't treat it as such a huge problem because we still have all the resources we need. I'm just going to quickly check out our hydrogen tanks. 70%. I think they were at about 60 odd % when we got up here, so they are filling up. We know there's plenty of ice on the moon, so, well, I'll tell you what, I think with this setup we should be able to land considerably safely on the moon, and I think we have the materials to build 2 landing gears. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the landing gear on the front here, so I can land, obviously. Oh, sorry, where's the front now? I'll get my bearings. Which way up is the flight seat? It's there. So this is really where the landing gear should go. Here. And I don't know if those little thrusters on the bottom will be enough to get me off the ground, but let's face it, I'm sure there's going to be the resources we need. Right, we're going to head over to the moon and we're going to see what's available. Where can I put a landing gear? Maybe on either side of this antenna. That's what we're going to do. Right. I'm going to check what I need. I didn't even consider the possibility that there wouldn't be asteroids. That was silly, wasn't it? One thing I have had a chance to sort of contemplate was that the effort it takes to get into space it was some effort, you know, the ship we had to build to get up here and the resources, the subsequent resources we had to sort of mine and then process, and then the components that had to be built, everything when it all comes together. It was just so much work, but from that work you do get a real sense of achievement. Like when you get here, it does feel like it was worth it. When you've been so used to playing space engineers and you come into a world and you have access to space straight away, and then all of a sudden that sort of stripped away, you do. It's a new sensation to space engineers for me to be like, wow, I'm in space, you know, as opposed to the, oh, I'm in space again. You know, it's and I do suggest or recommend it to others who consider doing their own survival world and starting on a planetary surface. It's definitely well worth it when you get up here. But like I said as well, there's some bad habits that you do bring up with you, and you have to be mindful that going from habitable environment to the void up here, there's certain things that you might do out of habit that you really want to get out of. I'm wondering if landing like that is probably going to cause me some issues. I think it probably will. I guess if push comes to shove and there is a decent amount of resources on the moon to use, I'm not sure what ores and stuff we're going to find there, then we can always we could convert this ship into a station and build upon it with the resources we have brought up with us, and then using the resources on the moon, use them to build a smaller craft to taxi back and forth from the habitable planet. That might sound fairly long-winded, but it's just a suggestion, and this has sort of caught me off guard, not having the access to asteroids, so I'm hoping that maybe a simpler solution will present itself. I really did want to get a station up and running, and it still might be an option, like a space station, like just above the planet's surface here, because I think I'm going to have to anyway. You can see I'm 44,000 meters away from our base down there. And that puts us in nice range of being able to broadcast between our base on the surface and this spot here. And in fact, what I'm going to do is, just so I don't get confused, I'm going to put a GPS marker down. Which basically says, what should we call it? Possible, if I could spell, station location, like that, just so we know. And then when we get to the moon, we can see how far it is from the moon as well, and then we might have a nice relay between Earth and the moon, which would be awesome, because you know, you might be able to make you might be about to embark on a journey to the planet's surface and realize you need the components. You could place the order before you got there, and by the time you got there, your order would be ready, basically, which is a handy use for that. So we need construction components, steel tubes, large, and motors. 10, 4, 6, which is 28, 12. Keep an eye on the oxygen. Oh, look, 20. It's handy. Let me tidy this up a bit because it's looking a bit messy. I'm not expecting a huge gravitational pull from the moon. Okay, we're not too worried about that. Let's check it out, shall we? Right, so we're on our way. Do you know what's nice now? Just being able to coast. And this could take some time, so I'll be back when we're approaching the planet. Now, I've just stopped upon entering the gravity well of the moon here, and as you can see, it's I'm going to turn that off so I start to drop below the surface. I think my small thrusters might be enough. I'm going to try and find a relatively flat area that has ice nearby, so this one near here, just so we can restock on our hydrogen fuel upon landing. You can see by my GPS markers there that we've travelled close enough to 100,000 meters. From the station location that we were going to use, and it would appear that 2 small thrusters is just enough. Looks like there might be ore deposits here as well. We might be in luck. Still a lot of momentum left in the... Oh, that looks cool. With the dust off. Right, I think here might be okay. So given the distance from where our station would be, it looks like we'd need at least another station in between that station and here to have a relay of sorts. But yeah, we're here now anyway. We should have a small amount of gravity, so we might as well use it. It's going to be interesting now. I wonder if we could jump up to here. Right, let's put the helmet back on before we do something we regret. Now, I don't think we're in danger of anything particular here. Let's see how high we can jump. It's the same height, but it's just slower. So I think we can set up some kind of a base of operations up here. Let's see. This, for all intensive purposes, should be ice. Nothing showing up on my sensors. And would you believe I was only thinking about it on the way down? So I accounted for about 50 different types of blocks that I might require in setting up a base. And one thing I didn't even think of was an ore detector. Let me see something here, just out of curiosity. That is stone. That is stone also. Okay, so that wasn't ice. There's the alien planet there. Nice view of the Earth, or the habitable planet, is what we'll call it. We have the red planet over there and its moon, a moon. Or should I say a satellite? Wow, it's feeling fairly barren up here. I guess I should start setting some kind of operations up. Maybe I should put an ore detector on this ship anyway, and really not second guess a landing site and really choose a decent one. If I can find platinum here, then all our problems are solved, because then we can start building the thrusters we need to really get around here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Actually, we're going to build an ore detector. So let's see what we need for that. And it means we're going to have to sacrifice something else in our list of our itinerary of things we were going to bring along with us. But I think it'll be worth it. We can always disassemble it when we know we've put GPS markers down and what have you. So an ore detector requires. Let's get the 50 steel plates that we need. It's not a huge sacrifice. Grab them while we're here, because I know I'm going to need them. We'll place it. Where is a good place to put you? May as well come down while we can. Looks like it's going to have to go in a very obscure place like here, maybe, for now. I guess it seems it's only temporary, it doesn't really matter. So what else do we need? We need detector components. Ah. Now if we have them, we will be lucky. Thank God for that. Now I wonder what we had on our list that would use to detect the components. I hope we have enough now. I don't think I accounted for a large ore detector. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Right, so we need 10 more detector components, but let's see what we can get away with. Motors, 5, computers, 25. Is there more detectors? No. Looks like we may well be out of luck. I have a feeling that a detector might be a fairly important component. Oh, would you look, we can still do it. Oh, that's so lucky. I believe, yeah, above the red line means we can use it, so screw you, 10 detector components. Helmet off. Save on the hydrogen. Now, let's see. What is near us? Nothing is showing up yet. Iron, gold, uranium. Let me see something, just out of curiosity. If I come down a bit lower, will more appear? No, I want to be careful now of this. Whoop. Just occurred to me, it may be a good idea to mark these down. I must stay aware of my hydrogen. I'm using hydrogen right now, so I won't go into too much detail. I'll just say gold, iron, uranium, all equally important. Ice would be nice. Iron. Well, they seem to appear in sort of clusters. Cobalt, nickel. What am I doing? Trying to click on something that's not there. Check over here. Platinum. And it would be in a crater. above it as best I can. Still no ice anywhere nearby. Oh, sorry, what was the other one? Platinum and nickel. We're going to continue looking. Firstly, let me just check my tanks are still above 60%, which is actually quite impressive, so I'm going to carry on. We'll see if there's anything else in this area. I'm sure if it was anything here then we would have saw it. Gold, silver. Seem to all be concentrated in the same area. I'm wondering if we go, I'll tell you what, let's make a bit of space. If we go up a bit higher, our thrusters don't have to do as much work because it's less gravity. Just to see if we get a visual sense of where the ice could be, because I'm pretty sure that there might be ice here. Of course, I'm not going to see it on the ore detector from here. I'm going to come down anyway. This appears to be where all the good stuff is. I'll tell you what, let's just turn the dampeners off and we'll drop. I'll tell you one thing now, it looks bloody treacherous. At least on the habitable planet you have open plains. I know that trees get in the way sometimes and what have you, but there's a chance of, you know, moving around the terrain. Right now we're looking like it was quite lucky that we found this lot over here as soon as we did. More there, but no ice. Well, I better be careful about what I'm using. I'm going to set this down and I'm going to try near the platinum as best I can. Really didn't want to end up stuck in a ditch, but there we go. And I lost a landing gear. I must have done that. I didn't see it happen just then, but then again, you never know. One is enough still. Let's see how my ice is actually faring. It's empty. All the ice is gone. Wow. I'm suddenly feeling very underprepared. If I do even want to get back to the habitable planet and land, I'll have to coast a lot of the way. Right. I'm just giving it a minute because I want to see how the sun rises in this crater, and if the Earth or Earth-like planet is going to block a lot of it. If it does, then it's pointless me setting up a base here because I'll be relying largely on solar power to begin with. Well, uranium's not far away, but in a vacuum it's a lot further than it is on a habitable planet. Well, I mean, there's been no threat of us being attacked by anything. So far. Am I seeing this nickel and platinum because I have within broadcasting range of my ship there? Hell with it. Guys, I'm just going to burrow down to this platinum and just get some on board in case I do decide that, in fact, what I might do is get this platinum, get it on board and get back within range of the habitable planet, and then I will set up a space station. I just don't see me surviving very long down here without any ice. If I can get a ship up and running that has the iron thrusters, then it will be a lot easier for me to get around and look quickly for the materials I need. So I'll be back when I've got what I want and I'm headed back to our ship there. So I'll speak to you soon. On account of, this is the platinum mine down here, on account of my oxygen bottles refilling for probably what will be the last time, and my hydrogen just refilling as well from the bottle I had, I'm going to head back to the ship, and I think the best course of action will be to load this platinum up onto the ship and start heading back to the habitable planet and at least get local to our main base of operations on the planet's surface. That way we know we have access to ice, we know that we have access to a safe environment should we need to get down quickly. Right, I timed it, it took me about 7 or 8 minutes to get here, flying in a straight line, coasting here really, so I don't really want to bore you with that again. I'm just going to take this last bit. This is the last of several trips I've made to the ship now with Platinum, so I'm just going to put this last bit I have in my inventory into the cargo container in here, which for some reason isn't connected to the rest of the ship, even though oxygen is getting through here and out of here, so I don't understand exactly why this one in particular. See, they're hydrogen tanks, I know that much. Don't think no, see, it won't access any other container. Maybe it's because it's passing through something that it generally can't. Maybe an oxygen generator's in the way or something. Let's see. Yeah, right, this should have been sucked into the oxygen generator, so it's not that. We'll deal with that when we can. Right. I am gonna start making my way back to our habitable planet, or at least to that. Let me get it on screen. At least to there. That's where we're headed, and I'll be back once I arrive. Right, guys. So we've built a little station here. It's by no means finished. It still has a lot needing adding onto it, and I would have got around to it only for that. I noticed this up here, which I should have realised a long time ago, that we're not getting full pressurization in this cabin, which means that we're leaking oxygen, which means we're using up ice unnecessarily, continuously. So that leads me to the conclusion that I'm going to have to get more ice and get back down to the surface as quick as possible and just try and fix some of those issues. On that note, I'm going to leave you for this episode. We will see all that, trying to land back on the surface, and what we're going to do after that, finishing touches to this station, possibly a couple of relays between us and the moon, which won't take long. And now that we know the only resources we're going to find up here are going to be on other planetary surfaces, it gives us a bit of a reason to try and get a foothold on the moon. So on that note, again, I'm going to leave you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Yeah.